We're here for another My First White Dwarf, and I'm here with my mate Jim, all the way from the UK. He's on holidays at the moment, so what better time to come and sit with me and talk about his very first issue, 183. Jim, it's nice to see you, mate.
Yeah, and you, mate. Nice to be on. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, mate. So this is your very first issue, I take it, yeah?
Yeah, well, I should probably start by saying I'm pretty sure this is my first issue. I seem to think that I might have started the hobby slightly before this one came out, but it's also slightly confusing because I have my cousin's White Dwarf collection, because back when I was playing Epic, he was playing Man of War. But he was slightly older than me, and he was getting out of the hobby, so he ended up selling me all of his Man of War stuff and his White Dwarf collection. And there's a slight overlap between the two, so his White Dwarf collection and mine. So, but I'm pretty sure this is my first one. There's two reasons really why I bought this, and the first reason is probably this front cover. I absolutely love this artwork by Dave Gallagher. There's the Tyrannid warrior, it's those bright colours, it's got a dynamic pose, it's got that sort of alien film things going on. I've got to say though, the actual Tyrannid warrior model from the 90s, the 40k one, I don't really like it. It's got sort of it looks like a walking ant with goofy teeth. So,
yeah, they did have the yeah, they did suffer from the banana fingers and banana teeth of that era. Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah,
I think I've actually got two of them somewhere. I should probably dig them out. But I should also say my my copy of this White Dwarf has the word "Made in Belgium" written on the bone sword of the Tyrannid warrior, which my best mate back in the day, Dave Lawtor, wrote on there as a slur on the Tyrannids and probably also the people of Belgium. So I'm not sure. I should probably apologise to the people of Belgium. I don't know why we used "Made in Belgium" to mean sort of naff or rubbish, but we did. Right. So if any Belgians listening, I apologise.
Yeah, the poor Belgians. They make such nice chocolate and beer, and chips too. They make the best potato chips in the world, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. It's not a typical English stereotype, so we just made it up when we were kids.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So on the inside cover, so we've got 3 epic battle scenes. I always used to love looking at these scenes, no matter what game system they were portraying. I always just love looking at them and trying to work out who would win the battles, I guess. I have a idea maybe of reenacting some of these, so I mean, you might have seen them on the Facebook group at one point.
Great.
But yeah, in this top one, Tyrion is overrunning a remote orc settlement. I'm pretty sure the gene stealers would make short work of those orcs.
Yeah.
I don't think the gargoyles or termagants actually going to help at all. And in the middle, we've got a powerful Trigon assault to squat Cyclops. Now, for me, my squats are my favourite, so I'm never going to bet against the squats. And I reckon even if the Cyclops rather doesn't have a chance to fire, it's still got higher close assault factor than the Trigon, so I reckon it'll still win. So my mind's on the squats on that one. And on the bottom one, well, I wouldn't want to be that Hive Tyrant. I'm pretty sure an Imperator Tyrant could crush all of those Tyrannids in that picture.
Yeah, vaporize it.
Yeah. So these are the sort of images that, really sold the world of that Games Workshop were selling to us, I guess.
Nice. Mate, you've been sold a great system. I know that you're really passionate about Epic Space Marines, so it shows by this issue, really, doesn't
it? Yeah, I guess so. The contents page, so it just says March 1995, which is only 10 years ago. Can you believe it? Editor still Robin Hughes. I guess because the Fat Dwarf started, didn't they? Not long after this one, so I guess Jake Thornton must have taken over at some point.
I've just spotted something that I really would like to get, and that's the Games Workshop Citadel Miniatures presents Epic Catalog. Apparently, it's a catalog containing all Titan Legions and Space Marine box sets and miniatures. That'd be a pretty cool one to get.
Okay, but your news page is slightly different from my one.
Oh, this is the Australian edition, mate. That's why.
Okay.
It's down under. Printed down under.
So the second reason, probably the main reason why I bought this White Dwarf, was because it was the release of the Epic Hive War supplement, which brought the Tyrannids into the Epic game system.
Yep.
I like the way it says in the article. It says Andy Chambers was kept chained to his word processor to finish it, which sort of helps date it. Not a PC, a word processor.
Yeah.
It also talks about Warhammer Quest. Warhammer Quest was due to be released in April, which is it's quite a small point really, but it became quite a huge game, didn't it? Warhammer Quest, and still is today.
It did. Yeah. Yep.
But, no, I never played it, unfortunately, and I still haven't. And given the prices on eBay, I don't think I ever will play it.
Well, I mean, hopefully it's been featured on that Warhammer TV, and so fingers crossed, we might actually see a re-release of it. So that'd be really nice.
Do you reckon?
I reckon because someone in the studio spent all that time painting all the models for it. So I mean, I think it's all set to go. It's all prime, ready to be released at some point.
That's a scoop, Josh, but inside knowledge.
No, not at all, mate. I wouldn't have a bloody clue. I don't know anybody who works at Games Workshop nowadays, but I reckon it's a perfect opportunity to do it, to re-release it. I mean, they would make an absolute bucket out of that. Do it on FOMO, right?
I'll definitely try
the stuff. Yeah, I'll definitely want to get a copy too, if they ever did it, for sure. Yeah.
You must be quite annoyed, though, if you've just bought a copy off eBay for like £500 or whatever.
Or you spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars or pounds on getting all because there's some guy who's reprinting all of the cards and supplemental materials and the card stock and everything at very high prices. So yeah, I think the guy Miguel from Rush the Wash, he's got a fully reprinted version in Spanish. So there's lots of stuff out there for people, even in different languages, that you can get these reprinted for. Yeah.
So the Ice Warriors of Valhalla seem a little bit overdressed for the climate they're finding.
Very green. Yeah.
I imagine they're supposed to be like white and blue camouflage originally, but then they pointed out, well, I've got goblin green bases, so you should use green.
Yep, that's right.
You're going to have to tell me who you reckon will win in this encounter with the Ice Warriors of Valhalla skirmish with a group of invading Eldar. Surely that mortar is way too close to be of any effect.
Yeah, and I think 3 Wraith Guard with their is it D cannons they're carrying. Yeah, it's just going to vaporize these guys, and I think it's just a case of morale, basically. I think the Guardsmen's morale might be about 6 or 7. Right. I don't know. They're probably not so far away from the Eldar actually in terms of morale, in terms of leadership. But I'd see the Eldar with chain swords and shuriken pistols or whatever. Yeah, I think they're going to make short work of this one.
Ice Warriors of Valhalla lead an Imperial Guard assault against an Orc horde. Quite a small Orc horde. But
yeah,
I reckon that Lehman Ross support, they probably will win that one.
Yeah.
I'm liking the Orc, but it looks like he's got an ice cream upside down his head in the bottom corner.
The freebooter.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a freebooter, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, he's got some kind of crustacean on top of his head, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got the Rough Riders of Attila on the other page.
Mm-hmm.
The Epic Rough Riders just look like normal guardsmen in the Epic, so we didn't get these sort of Mongolian-looking ones, did we? Well, I think the third edition of Epic did have these guys.
Yes, it sort of changed. It changed definitely aesthetically. It changed and evolved from Rogue Trader, because Epic is basically Rogue Trader imprinted, DNA basically visually, and then second edition. Yeah, I think they brought out better updated sprues and everything later on. So everything would correlate visually. Yeah.
Well, I reckon those Rough Riders charging into those Eldar would wipe them all out.
Oh yeah, with those lances, those
Yeah.
exploding lances. Yeah, for sure.
And you've got the rules for the mortar at the bottom there.
Yep.
You've got to guess the range between 12 inches and 60 inches. That seems a bit difficult. I'm glad there's no guessing of ranges in Epic. Or is there? I don't think there is. You have to guess the range of
Yeah.
the pulse rockets.
Well, no, I don't think. No, you just nominate a amount of dice, so it's just a random roll rather than guess roll. It's a random roll.
Right, okay.
You just add 50 centimeters to how many dice you want to throw into it to pump up the fuel, basically.
Yeah, very orky.
Very orky. Yep.
So Undead, pretty cool, aren't they, these Undead models?
Yeah,
And then you
beautiful.
recently painted Heinrich, haven't you? Heinrich Himmler.
I did. I've still got one to go. I've got my own personal one to paint, so I can't wait to do it in exactly that color scheme too.
Oh, nice. I love the bright red sword of the Vampire Lord there. It's very bright.
It's the
Very bright 90s.
Yeah, it reminds me of the ISO pops you used to buy as kids. You can still buy them now. My son enjoys those now. You got like the
yeah.
what would they be?
Fab
You know,
lollies
some
and
kind
that
of
sort of thing.
watermelon flavored ice candy, ice sticks. You know, whatever. Yeah.
We've got some Chaos Sinesh themes.
Yeah.
I recently painted some of the epic ones. I've got to admit, though, I was never a fan of Chaos back in the day. I think I just thought it looked really weird.
That's the nature of the beast. Yep, that's
right.
right.
I guess so. But generally, the lore used to confuse me because sci-fi to me, as a 14-year-old, was like Star Trek and Doctor Who and Star Wars. Then you come to 40k, and it's just really bizarre. So I never quite got the lore when I was a kid. John Blanche.
Yep, sure is.
It's a nice piece of artwork, isn't it?
It is nice. Yeah.
I always like with some of John Blanche's work, you can't always quite work out what is what. You see what I mean?
Yeah, he went into a certain style, didn't he? At this stage, well, I suppose for his watercolor and inks and everything he used. But yeah, I really love his penciled work, like the graphite work he did in that time.
Yeah.
I think it's some of his best work he's ever done. But I suppose it's nice to see him do different mediums and in a way different styles as well. So yeah, it's just nice.
These are pretty cool models, aren't they? I love the blue faces they have. I also really like the all the orc glyphs. They're pretty cool, aren't they? I don't remember really noticing them back in the day, but I must have done. So I'm pretty sure one of them is a swastika. Have you ever seen that one?
I don't know. I can't remember, mate. Yeah,
I think in the Orc and Squat supplement, there's one that's a swastika. I don't know if that would be allowed nowadays. And then, well, the reason we're all here: Epic Titan Legion, Epic Hive War by Andy Chambers.
That's it.
Well, I probably should say thank you to Andy Chambers for all his hard work on this, because the Tyrannids in Epic are pretty awesome. They're very unique and flavourful. Have you ever played Tyrannids in Epic?
No, never seen them on the tabletop, never played against them, but we do, thankfully to one of my patrons, have the Hive War box set. It's now just accumulating the models to play it. So just a special shout out to Rich at Bring and Battle as a reminder. he was gonna donate some to us so that we could actually start playing them in Titan Legions, which would be really fun.
Yeah, they are really good. They're very unique, and they feel, all the armies feel slightly unique, don't they? I think, but I think Tyranids especially, because the way you build the armies and all their psychic powers especially feel different. You get to see the full artwork there of the Hive War box set. I love all the, in the background, you see all the Tyranids rushing out. Possibly one of my favourite pieces of Tyranid artwork is this Hive Tyrant. I'm not sure who it's by. Do you know who did
Mark
this one?
Givens, mate. Mark Givens.
Oh, okay. No, I absolutely love this artwork. It's possibly my favourite. But I say that all the time. The arc, so who knows?
Well, if you've got a spare few £1,000, mate, maybe you can ask Mark if he's got the original. You can buy it off him.
No, you're right.
Pass on that one, eh? Okay.
I'll sell my copy of Warhammer Quest, shall I?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like the way Andy writes here. Never before have the Tyrannid Horde been able to swarm their way into the epic battlefield until now. The cards there that you use to form the Tyrannid army.
Mm-hmm. That's
It forms a nice sort of web, which is pretty important because as you lose units, the web starts to fall apart, and you use the web for how many hive cards you get, which help control your army with the orders. So it's really cool. The system I know you've gone through all this with John on your podcast, haven't you? So
yeah, we have covered a lot on that. Unfortunately, we didn't have Andy to talk about it with us, but one day, hopefully, you can come on and talk about his design of Tyrannid Hive War, and because it was the only expansion for Titan Legions, and it came right at the end.
Yeah,
before the Warhammer 40k came out. So
it was a beautiful production though, because Andy in this article is sort of apologetic that there's only one army inside the supplement, whereas all the others had two. But I was sort of thinking, wow,
right.
it's better that there's only one, because most of the time, so with my Orc and squats back in the day, I only played squats, so I didn't care for any Orc stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, it's really, the quality of this the Hive War supplement was really high. Cards are great and everything. I love the Trigon in the game. It dies quite easily, but it's got a Bioshock template in front of it, which is quite effective at wiping out units. And the Exocrines, they're a must-take, I reckon. They're quite a good artillery piece. The Malefactors, now, I do have some of these, and back in the day I never really liked them, because I thought they're basically a troop transport, but they're quite expensive troop transport.
Yeah.
But I used them recently, and they're actually quite good, because they also got quite high CAF. So you can use them to transport some gene stealers up the battlefield, and then use them to support them. Because one of the problems with Tyrannids is that they're pretty slow, so they don't have many ways of getting up the battlefield that quickly. They do have mycetic spores, but they're like the drop pods. But I think they're too easy to shoot down. Sure. And the actual rules in the game for them, I just think are a little bit random. So I home rule it when I play those things. Oh, so there you've got Fulgrim and the Keeper of Secrets.
Yeah, they're back.
They're back. So yeah, the Dominatrix, it's an awesome model, it's got an awesome name, does an awesome thing in the game. So even if it wasn't a mandatory thing for the Tyrannid army, you're always going to take it.
Nothing beats Tzinch or Khorne in my books.
Yeah, well, Magnus the Red's probably the best one in the game, isn't he? He's got that very powerful eye beam.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right, mate.
But I don't think any of the Great Demons are that amazing, really. They're all quite slow, aren't they?
But they take those funky cards. That's the best thing about taking the Greater Demons. You get all the cards with them and all the Primarchs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you use the cards mainly to save the Greater Demons when they die, or to actually use them?
Absolutely. No, I very rarely use them. So you've got to find situations where you keep all your Great Demons and Primarchs safe, and then you can use the cards on your troops until they get into close combat and start murdering things.
The thing is, keeping them safe is awkward, because you want to get them into battle, don't you? But
yeah, that's the thing. But with Magnus, you can keep them fairly safe, because it's always in the back lines. You never really move them forward. But it's the Greater Demons of Khorne that really, your Lord of Battles and your Bloodthirsters and Angron needs to get up in close combat to be effective at all.
Maybe this is my favourite Nid artwork. I keep saying that a lot. But this is the. I assume this is this another Dave Gallagher. Looks like
it. Yep, sure is. Yep.
Yeah, it's an awesome picture of the Hive Tyrant. This is on the front cover of the Codex, isn't it, for 40k? Yeah, some beautiful colours. I do have one of these actually, second edition. I keep meaning to paint it up in exactly this colour scheme, but it's on the paint on the backlog of painting this that I've got. And that's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very nice, mate. It's a nice piece of artwork, that.
It was these sort of images that really got me into this world.
Yeah, we've got to thank Dave a lot for that, because he did a lot of evocative covers for lots of different things, White Dwarves and game sets. Apart from Jeff Taylor did a lot as well, but Dave did an enormous amount of stuff. Yeah.
No, I mean, I do like John Blanche now, but back in the day, I always thought they were a bit creepy and weird, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the 14-year-old me really liked all the bright colours, and I guess that's what Games Workshop were going for, wasn't it?
Yeah, they got the right artists to represent all their products, mate, in the right light. Yep, absolutely.
This artwork's really, really good, and I like the models in Epic, but the second edition 40k ones, I always thought looked a bit odd. But they always look like they're sort of leaning backwards a bit. You see the Hive Mind cards at the bottom there, and one of them is called Regenerate, which allows the material player to just remove all of his wound counters at the end phase. Yeah. Which is a bit of a table flipping moment for your opponent if you play that. Pretty sure I had it on a game I played recently, and it was against myself, so I didn't flip the table. But my biotype, I think had 14. I think my biotype had 14 wounds on it. Yeah. Let's play the regeneration.
You played it against yourself, mate. You screwed yourself. Well done.
Yeah. Tyrannid's battle against Eldar, Tempest, and Nightwings in a dense forest. Now, I reckon the Tempests have got too close to the enemy here, and they're going to get wiped out.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see Tempests get destroyed, though, isn't it? Because they are a bit of an overpowered unit. I love playing with them, but they are I always feel a bit cheeky popping up, firing my what they call Tempest cannons or whatever they are, that 100 centimetre range, -3.
That's right.
Wiping out wherever they shoot, and then just hiding behind a building again. Never to be shot at. So, yeah,
it's a bit like nice Magnus, but just a bit like Magnus's eye, but like much worse. Basically.
Yeah, they're pretty overpowered units, aren't they? I think
they're pretty powerful. Yeah.
I think whoever wrote the Eldar in Epic was obviously a big, massive Eldar fan. And
was it me?
So yeah, I love the last sentence on this article where Andy says, "I reckon that Hive War has turned out brilliantly well and will soon become a must-have army for every Epic player. I hope that it brings as much enjoyment to you Epic players as it's given me working on it." Well, it certainly did. It's an awesome supplement, and I strongly recommend anyone who has Epic to get into the NIDs, because they are really cool. I do like that Eldar Wave Serpent, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
I don't know why it's based on a square base, though. That seems odd. Yeah, that is really good. I like that High Elf white line as well. Is that a conversion, or is that a normal model?
No, it's a normal model. That's a Marauder miniature. Yeah, they use a 4th edition.
So Blood Bowl. I don't think I was never really into Blood Bowl back in the day. I don't even remember it really being about. So maybe this was towards the end of Blood Bowl's life. I don't remember seeing it in the shops.
Really? Okay.
No.
Wow.
Maybe
it was huge back in the day. Yeah.
Really? To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's still being played today. I mean, it's one of the longest lasting specialist games that Games Workshop have ever made. So
yeah. Maybe to be fair, the Epic section in my local Portsmouth Games Workshop was just a tiny corner. But that's where I went to every time I went to Games Workshop.
Right.
The Minotaur star player, Nashrak Blackhoof, has one of the most lucrative contracts in Blood Bowl. He gets the pick of the crowd, his own straw, and a custom-built maze in the dugout. When asked about his perks, Blackhoof simply said, "I'm milking them for everything they've got." I like that. quite a cool little quote. I do like the names they come up with though, like Hack Phlegm, Guttural Spike, Skaven stuff like that. It's quite a good model actually.
Yeah, it's a really nice model. I got to paint one for commission, and plus that Jordell Fresh Breeze, I got to paint him as well. It was a really nice model as well, and the Dwarf Death Roller. So I did all the trifecta, mate. I did all of them.
Nice.
So yeah. Well, this is a pretty poignant time in the studio with Mike McVeigh's The Emperor and Horus diorama.
Yeah, this is a really good article about how Mike went about making it. It's funny because, again, back in the day, I never really got the significance of this scene in the lore for 40k. To me, it just looked like two guys fighting each other. But it's actually obviously a hugely important point in the story, isn't it? I actually went to Warhammer World not last Christmas for last. I saw this in the flesh, and it is really nice to see.
Yeah, I bet, mate. They're wonderful.
That little picture of the wires there. I was going to be amazed that you could use wires and cables to represent wires and cables in terrain, which I know sounds like a silly thing to say, but if you don't know how to make these things, then you don't know. Making terrain was actually my favourite part of this hobby, I think, but I just don't really have a lot of reason to do it. There's Horus and the Emperor and all their glory.
Yep.
I think that Horus looks a bit like Clancy Brown from the Highlander film in that picture. Don't mean to be mean to Mike's work. It's amazing.
Yeah.
No, it's a great piece, isn't it?
Yep. Sure is, mate.
So the Dreadnoughts, and it's an awesome model. I recently picked up a Space War Dreadnought. But I always wish that the Dreadnoughts in Epic would look like this, because they look like the 30k ones, don't they? Which one's good? They don't play that well either, so you never really use them. But in 40k, Dreadnoughts are quite a key part of an army, aren't they, for the Space Marines? It is great supplement. It's got so much. I love that the Pyro Acid Splay template. I'm generally not a big fan of template weapons in the game. They're a bit annoying to use, but that three-pronged Pyro Acid Splay that I think it's got a -3 as well. I think it's quite effective.
Whew, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So coming April 22nd, Warhammer Quest Day. Well, we're now celebrating, was it 30 years since it was released? So hopefully, fingers crossed, Games Workshop or Warhammer, whatever they call it now, will do the right thing and re-release it for all us people who may have bought it and sold it or got rid of it or never had the chance, and reclaim their glory.
Hopefully they do it exactly the same as well, with the same artwork, because that artwork is awesome, isn't it? Look at that guy.
Oh, yeah, mate. It's amazing, isn't it? That's Jeff Taylor, mate.
So, it ends with the back cover. Nowadays, Games Workshop would have a full range of NIDs for Epic, but Wayne Bell's awesome White Scar army, slightly off-white. But I love some of the banner work he's got. Got a lot of banner envy with this.
Yeah.
I need to improve my banner game.
Yeah, banners are a certain art. There are definitely an art to it. So
yeah, but at the moment I'm cheating. I'm just photocopying stuff from books and then printing out, and then painting something
nothing
over
wrong with
it.
that. Not wrong. Nothing wrong with that, mate. Whatever it makes it look good on the tabletop. You know what I mean? That's the main objective. So yeah.
No, yeah. So that's my first White Dwarf,
mate. That wraps it up. Well, Jim, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you on to share with your very first White Dwarf. If it was your White Dwarf, it doesn't matter. It's your favourite White Dwarf. It contains all the Nid goodness and epic goodness that makes you feel happy every time you flip those pages through, mate. So I was really happy to cover it with you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, mate. It's great to go through it.
Anytime. Yeah, no problem, mate. I really appreciate you coming on, and enjoy the rest of your holidays.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Okay, take care, mate. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.